Good morning. We're back in Hanoi, day number 2. I'm on my way to the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum. So I want to pay my respects to Ho Chi Minh and show you a little bit more of Hanoi in that area and to tell you more about it. It's a busy morning here. As you can see, people are up and about and getting ready for the day, even though it's Sunday. So Hanoi never seems to stop and sleep. It's kind of amazing to see how busy it gets. If you haven't heard, definitely go get yourself a Grab. Grab is awesome. It's basically like Uber in the US, and you can just order it, register with a phone number. You do have to have a local number, so pro tip at the airport, just get yourself a SIM card. I recommend Vettel. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but they basically have really good deals. It's super cheap. You can get 120 gigabytes for like $10, maybe less than that, for a whole entire month, and it's really helpful. So it's good to have that available, and makes things easier while you're here and get around. So it's definitely a must to have one of those. And yeah, so here we go. Just another beautiful day. Taking some of the sights and sounds as we are getting there.
Welcome to A Man's Memories. Follow me on an epic journey through Vietnam by motorbike, on the footsteps of history, exploring happiness in unexpected places, meeting new people, and learning about the culture along the way. So lean back and enjoy as we make memories together in the pursuit of happiness.
So you might notice that the traffic is quite random and hectic. You get used to it, honestly. It's depending on how big the intersection is, it seems like, on where there's actual traffic light and where there's just chaos. So in the smaller streets, I notice people are just kind of walking around and crossing as they can. And then in the larger streets like this one, there's an actual traffic light and people do stop. So, by the way, this is the French water tower we're driving by. And the tower was built the French colony. So they, in the 1860s, they built this water tower to supply the local places with water. And yeah, this is a common thing of the old and the new. So it mixes a lot, which is great to see. And it's the influence of the French colonization of Vietnam. And there's just so much more to this country and city than meets the eye, and it's definitely amazes me as I'm traveling through this little slice of Vietnam, and quite frankly heaven. So can't wait to see what else is in store for me. And people are really friendly. Here's the whole family just riding along. So they're all having a good time. So we're passing now the diplomatic district of Hanoi, where all the embassies are located, and it is kind of similar to a lot of the Asian countries where, you know, they put all the political sides into one giant area near the government, and just have a central street. It makes it easier, and you can see that the tourism here is picking up as well because it's near the museum and people are interested in seeing, of course, everything they can. And I'm just making my way there. You might notice I'm starting to wear a mask. It is quite smog and fumy here, so you know, it's not just because of COVID, but it's also very important to wear something to prevent your lungs from getting an infection.
I made it into the presidential complex and the mausoleum. I was given very strict guidelines of what I can and cannot film. And so I was not allowed to film the entrance when I arrived or some of the areas. And there was only certain places I was allowed to film. And they were very strict and actually had a person watching me, I felt like the whole entire time I was there.
So here I am at the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum with the great president of Ho Chi Minh. Obviously, this is a very somber place, and trying to be respectful. It is quite the experience. I just came out of it. You're not allowed to film inside. And here, I asked for special permission to make sure that I'm actually allowed to film and make sure that I'm being respectful. It is an eerie atmosphere, I have to say. It is 70 years of independence that have just been celebrated. And a little bit of a, I guess, history or rundown of how and why and when for those who are interested. So Ho Chi Minh was the leader of the Viet Cong after 1945, and is in great and large responsible for the independence of Vietnam, and that led eventually to the first Indonesian War, what we know later on evolved into the Vietnam War, where the U.S. was involved. And as this is a controversial topic, I'm not going to go into too many of the details, and I would recommend if you want to learn more, you can go research some on your own and form your own opinions on what you think is right or wrong. I personally just here to document the mausoleum and the weight of it all. It is quite a place, and I'm a little bit stunned, to be honest, and speechless on all the people who are here. It is really seeing so many people come through the mausoleum and walk through, so you see the actual body of Ho Chi Minh laid to rest. And I wasn't expecting the organization and the amount of work that was put into this place, as far as very concise and very controlled, to be frank. But I think it is important to understand the history and the weight behind these people, behind this country, on this place. And Ho Chi Minh died in Hanoi on September 2nd, actually, and September 3rd. And now being here myself, it's mind-boggling and interesting. So I apologize if I'm mumbling a little bit, but it is certainly a place where you're like have impressions you won't forget. So you can see here behind me the mausoleum, and this is a presidential square, so I'm allowed to film here. And these rice paddies behind me here, you can see a lot of locals taking pictures, and the government building here right in front of me, where people are also taking pictures in pride of this country. So it was just Independence Day, like I said, that's 77 years ago. And yeah, wow. All I can say is wow. All right, so I'm at the Ho Chi Minh Presidential Complex still, and I'm about to go into the Ho Chi Minh Museum. So overall, I would say it is, if you have time, check it out. Check out the museum, check out the Presidential Palace, the museum. If you like history, it's certainly a place to visit. I always feel like if you want to understand a country and its people, you have to understand and appreciate its history, and this is certainly a place to do it. So it is beautiful. There's a lot of people. I mean, I am here 2 days after Independence Day, so I'm sure and if you come on a non-holiday, it's maybe not as busy, but it certainly is worth visiting and taking a look and paying your respect. So it is interesting to see how many people are actually here and just kind of wandering around. Some people, I think, they're just doing it because they're kind of expected to, almost. But at the same time, some people are really enjoying it. And I asked earlier if I could take a picture or film one of the guards, and they were saying no. So I'm just being very careful when I'm filming, not to cause an international incident, to get arrested, and be on the front page. You know, one of those like American or German got detained in Vietnam while filming at the presidential complex. Not my intention. So yeah, check it out if you come here and take a look around. Just one tip, you're not allowed to take in any water or anything, so you have to buy things here and try to keep your stuff to a minimum. They're very strict and they will throughout the place watch you and take stuff from you if it's not compliant with their regulations. So just be aware of that. So just got done with the mausoleum and reflecting on what the great Ho Chi Minh was kind of talking about, which is he wanted a prosperity in the country and he wanted prosperity for its people and developing economy. And if you look at Vietnam today, it is really a fascinating story. In the last 10 years or so, the economy here took a big turn for the better. And even during COVID, they were still able to have a positive GDP, which is really interesting to see. The poverty line in Vietnam actually decreased by 32% according to the World Bank to 3% in the last 10 years. And so it is an interesting turn of events as we are coming out of the pandemic. And I feel like the dream of Ho Chi Minh is sort of being realized, which is that, having a prosperous country. And Vietnam now is becoming a middle income class country as a whole, which is interesting as I'm, strolling down this alley here and looking at all the different things they're selling all day. So it's quantity of things, but at the same time, it's the quality of the life they're creating for themselves. And it's definitely something to think about. So still in the old quarter and checking out a food tour tonight in Hanoi. And it should be fun. It's about 2 hours or 3 hours, I think, and has 8 different stops. So we'll check it out later tonight. And we're just kind of hanging out here, looking at all the different vendors and the fresh produce they have to offer. So it's pretty cool, typical stuff. That's cool. So now we're getting to the meaty section of the evening. And this lady, like, if you ever need duck, look at this. I just talked to this gentleman behind me and he told me it's $10 US for a whole duck. Nuts.
All this walking around had me pretty tired, and I sat down and did one of my favorite things to do, which is people watch. And there's so much to see always when you just sit down and have a beer and see the streets of Hanoi passing you by. And then I got ready for the food tour in the evening, and that's where we're gonna go next.
All right, so we made it to the Hanoi street food tour, and I'm gonna check it out tonight. It's about 3 hours, like I said, and yeah, this is the place. So if you're here, you should definitely come check it out.
After a brief introduction, we've gotten some happy water or rice wine to try, and it was quite potent, to be honest, but it was good, and it was a good way to start off the evening and meet some folks. So the tour started with the first stop at a little place which was having what they called fat sausage, which was basically like a sausage with rice and some spices. But that was the start, and here we go.
What else was it? Rice?
This is a donut shop.
Flour,
They've been around for 30 years, and they make donuts. They come like this. And it's a little donut inside with mung bean. It's very sweet, but tastes very good. So third stop on the food tour, and this is apparently a sausage pancake. So this lady is frying them over here, and it's pretty savory. Yummy, tastes good. Lots of spices in it, and tastes good. So the next stop is Buncha. Having more good food. Hi. So, as you can see, we're being guided to the next food, which is buncha. That's essentially pork with rice noodle. It's really good.
Like because coffee in my country really
So let's try the egg coffee.
tense and bitter.
That last bit was that's the bar.
Yeah, you have to stir.
It's very unique. It's very good. Tastes great. Yeah.
Yeah, we know it's hard for Vietnamese people can drink the black coffee. We want to drink with it, drink coffee with the sweet thing like milk. But in the past, we didn't have a lot of milk. Cow couldn't live in here because the hot weather. So a pioneer, he used egg instead of milk to make egg cream. So this is the reason why egg coffee invented. Yeah.
Oh wow. Learned something new.
Take a picture.
All these people influencing each other.
I don't even have Instagram. These are literally just to me. I don't post anything.
It's for the man. This is for me to show my kids.
Yeah. So you eat everything.
So this is sticky rice with ice cream and the little
Very good.
banana peels. Are those banana? What is it?
First coconut and dry coconut.
Coconut and dry coconut. Okay. So double the trouble, I guess. Hey, okay, bye. So that was the food tour. I'm knackered for the day. Thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Can't wait to show you Halong Bay, which is coming up next week.